You're listening to From a Certain Point of Skew, the only Star Wars podcast to not yet feel the... God damn it. To not yet feel the effects of the hyperspace drive-by. I'm Jason, the Angry Ginger Jedi Guy. I'm broadcasting live from inside my very own Wookiee Poo Studios. I'm not alone. I'm with the one, the only, the Darthist of the Mathis, Darth Mathias.
Hello. I wanted to give you credit because you fucking nailed it. We got Snoke. We got smoke.
Oh, yes, that's true. We did. Green smoke.
I can't wait to get into that.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny. Well, let's touch on that for a second because Marok Mania is what I'm calling it. It was causing such a stir because everybody had these crazy theories.
Yeah.
And then you had people getting mad as hell at the people who had the crazy theories.
He's nobody. What are you going to do when he's just nobody? I mean, we're just having fun speculating. Like, no one's like, I'll tell you this, right when like her saber went up and she took the stance and he starts getting the propeller going, I'm like, oh, he's dead. I knew it right then.
Oh yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Right. It seemed like it was going on everywhere. And it was funny because I posted a tweet promoting our last episode, I guess it was.
Mm-hmm.
And I was saying something about the Marok theories or Marok. I have to say it wrong every time. And it caused a little bit of a stir, which was funny because all of a sudden I had a number of people responding to me in English, but then all of a sudden there was this, it took on this whole second conversation thread where Portuguese, at first I thought it was Spanish, and I realized, oh no, this is Portuguese. I'm thinking, are these people all in Brazil maybe, or maybe Portugal? But trying to figure out where everybody was coming from, but people were quote tweeting our tweet, and then a whole conversation would go off.
Really?
And it happened 10, 15 times. It was so funny. And so I had to keep translating it and going, what are they saying? What are they saying? So many people are just like, this is so fucking stupid and all this stuff. But there are a few tweets that I wanted to call that were kind of funny. Genevieve said, I'm not watching this money laundering, but I'm sure this beast isn't Barris. Money laundering. Chew Wars said, oh, you'll see it. He's the 20th brother. I thought that was kind of clever.
There you go.
And then Gab, the last one. Gab says, or honestly, guys, he's not anyone. It seems like they don't learn. Every Lucasfilm or Marvel series that comes out on Disney Plus, it's the same thing. They always put something up to generate discussion, which in the end was absolutely nothing. It's been 4 years of this streaming, and you're still being made from muggles. I'm not sure if my translator worked quite right there.
Yeah, because that's Harry Potter.
Made from muggles? I don't know.
They're crossbreeding franchises here.
Yeah, it's funny because anytime somebody said something that was kind of shitting on us for throwing that out in that tweet, I would just go, "We're literally just having fun with the theories," and they're kind of like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, okay. Their rage went down real quick.
The rage, killed it in a minute. So, anyway, it was pretty funny. It was just funny to see all that interaction, but it just really took on a life of its own because I would look back because when you're quote tweeted, you don't see all the replies right away. Right. You have to go back and find them.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, I was like, "Holy shit!" There's a lot of people, going back and forth.
I think the next time this happens, for all the Portuguese people or anybody, the next time there's a hard stance on a character or rather a speculative on a character, a lot of speculation. I'm gonna take a hard stance on one of them, and I'm just gonna argue and stick I won't even care. But
get your Google Translator out.
Yep, I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna need my own C-3PO.
We appreciate all the feedback, though, of course. You can find our show from a certain point of skew.com. You can find us on Twitter and Threads at FACPApod, and you can email us facpapod@gmail.com.
Now, is that thread still working? Because I heard people are just running from that.
I still use it here and there. I kind of forget to post on there a lot.
Okay.
Twitter's still my main one that I promote with.
Jermaine Boo Boo.
So I've tried.
Oh.
Uh-oh. Take your pills.
We're good. Yeah. I'm not that old yet.
That's what my dad does all the time. He'll be like, some alarm goes off. I'm like, what do you got? He's like, I got to take this pill for this. Okay.
My dick's about to get hard. Oh.
Oh, boy.
On the show today, we've got the question of the week. What's your deal, Baylan? News, Destination D23 update, Skeleton Crew push to 2024, and Master and Apprentice Special Look, FU Disney Plus. Ahsoka, Episode 4, Fallen Jedi. That's our big meat and potatoes we'll be getting into. And then after that, we've got two emails in the Maul Bag. Up first, question of the week.
I think two is the minimum, right? You always demand
I'm happy with
two.
two. I'm very happy with two. Yep, the rule of two.
Speaking of creating a little stir, I posted a question of the week last week for what is Baylan's true motivation? And I said power, revenge, jealousy, boredom, and got a lot of responses. So we're going to breeze through these. But first is our friend Ro from the Scarif Scuttlebutt podcast. He just wrote, been thinking about this, looking forward to finding out. Thanks, Ro.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting us know. Brian Hour said, it's been 25 years and still has not gotten Obi-Wan's it has been 25 years and he still has not gotten Obi-Wan's reserved booth at Dex's Diner for his weekly Dudes and Hoods breakfast meetup. What does a dude who studied the Jedi arts have to do to get a good scrapple hash?
That's a good question. We're going to find out.
Brom Titus says he wants power. There's a power vacuum now. It makes sense people like him would seem very powerful now that Vader and the Emperor are dead. He doesn't want revenge. He's disappointed there's so little Force users. It's why he took Shin as a Padawan.
I agree with the last half of that. Him taking a Padawan on. I don't agree with him looking
vacuum?
for anything. Yeah, not for power. What he's doing is not for power at all, I don't think.
I don't think so either. Lord Asphyxius, great name, says he has foreseen the sequel trilogy and seeks the power to prevent it.
Wow. I wonder if he likes the new movies.
Plo Cool 811, probably power, since that's what he told Shin when they get to Thrawn.
Boy, hey Plo, how you working with themes and like symbolism and shit, right?
There's a few responses like that where they're like,
metaphors.
He literally said power. I'm like, yeah, I know that's what he said.
Yes, right.
Let's get
from
into
a certain point of view.
Right. JD Fish from the Blue Milk Cafe podcast. That's the guy who brought on RFB now, who's on there with him. He says, he says all of the above.
So
all of it.
This is all like a thread, and he disagreed with everyone that we've read so far.
I think he was saying all. Well, maybe you're right, but I think he's saying all of the above to the revenge, jealousy, boredom stuff that I.
Oh, your question.
Yeah,
okay.
I think he thinks it's all of those. No Class Twit, aka Matthew Vanderveer, says to be the one true Sith Santa Claus.
Man, he would bring the presents and the pain.
Would. Sit on my lap, little girl. Ooh.
Yeah. You think that's what he says to Shin at night?
Oh God, I hope not. I hope not.
The Force flows through you.
Oh, gross. Brown Leader from Hyperspace Heroes podcast says, Baylan seeks unlimited power so he can ensure that nacho fries are back on the Taco Bell menu permanently. Hashtag Baylan, hashtag nacho fries, hashtag live Moss.
Brown Leader, you are onto something, and I fucking back this up.
I love it. Mandalore the First says, revenge. My theory is Baylan had a wife. I like this. Baylan had a wife. Shin is his daughter. He went into hiding after Order 66, but his daughter was unable to hide her Force abilities. Inquisitors found his home, and his wife died in the fight. Baylan then dedicated his life to destroy whoever is in power.
I really like this, but I don't think he would work even with Green Ghost Mist Inquisitor at that point, right?
You wouldn't think so, although we'll get into exactly what that means for that Inquisitor, but you're right. That would seem like you'd be a little bit scorned by the
little turned off
Inquisitors.
by the
you wouldn't want to work with one.
Yeah.
But I like the thought. I like the thought process.
I do too.
Sarlacc Digest says, I think it's a World Between Worlds play. After showing his empathy toward having to kill Ahsoka, maybe he wants to use it to stop or change Order 66. Not my favorite, as I despise the idea of the World Between Worlds changing events. Yeah?
Yeah.
You think he's making a play for World Between Worlds? I don't think he's aware of World Between Worlds.
I think he is. I think
that's right.
The only link between him and Thrawn is Thrawn's ship, which has the disassembled, blown up, whatever you want to call it, gateway from Lothal to the World Between Worlds.
You think so? Because he loves it? Because he's an art collector?
And yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, that's the power he's speaking of.
It could be. We're going to get into some of your theories because you threw some stuff out to me in DM, so I can't wait to go over that.
Oh, good. I'm glad that you wrote them down because I never remember them.
I saved them because I knew you'd go. What'd I say?
Yeah.
I was in the middle of a 12-hour shift, man. I don't remember what I said.
That's exactly right.
Tell of Clerkenwell, I like that name, says lightsaber envy. Nice. Matt Thornton says, at the moment, I'm guessing he wants to gain access to the World Between Worlds to not only save the Jedi Order, but to reshape it to his liking. Ultimate power. Star Wars fan 1115 says he's already said power due to the coming war. See, I don't think so. And then Hortma says power, as he stated before. See, again. Daniel Mormack says power. He thought the Jedi were the ultimate power, but once the Sith overthrew them, he felt they were, but thinks there is a greater power out there now. Okay. Two more. Ashoka Cooper says, I think he suspects that Palpatine survived somehow, and he hopes Thrawn will lead him to Palpatine as he wishes to either prove his worth to be his apprentice, or he wishes to exact revenge against Sheev for what he did to the Jedi Order. Well, I like the theory here. I would think it would be the latter of the two. I think he's a true blue Jedi, all things considered. And he's fucking pissed about the Order 66.
I think he's got the point of view where the ends will justify the means. So he's not really honoring the Jedi Order completely, but he still seems to maintain some care for what was. Yeah. I can see that. And that'd be interesting. Maybe because of Thrawn he does, or maybe there's some knowledge that Thrawn has about like one of Palp's fucking Order 66 type, like enact this if I die type things, right? Which is the cloning thing. So maybe he's aware of that and wants to stop that. And if he can get through the world between worlds, he certainly can learn what he needs to learn.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. He wants to make the Jedi Order great again.
Yeah. Yeah. Get a red hat with that on there, motherfuckers.
Next time he pulls off the hood, he's got a hat. Like, oh no. The Max Rebo experience says he told Shin it would give them power such they've never dreamed. Looking at Baylan and Shin, I don't think they have great dreams, so it might not be that great. I bet he's looking for a lifetime supply of Dollar General gift cards or return of TGI Friday's endless apps. Was he in cahoots with who was it Brown Leader for doing the Taco Bell one?
Right. Yeah.
Oh, that's fucking funny. Great responses. Loved all the responses. Yeah. It's always fun because sometimes, I'll put the question of the week out and it gets like 1. I'm like, wow.
Right.
And then there's sometimes we get 40.
You got a hell of a list here. And thanks to everybody. They all put everybody put thought into it except for Ro.
Right. He just wanted to see what happens.
Yeah. He's looking forward to it though.
He is looking forward to it. Thanks, Ro. All right. In news, we've got a couple things here. The D23 event. So they're having this Destination D23 event this weekend. And it's mostly just been announcements about like stuff that's come to the theme parks and stuff. Really, the only Star Wars related one was they were saying Ahsoka Tano is going to be somehow worked into Star Tours, apparently.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so they're going to include her in that. I'm not sure exactly how they're going to do that. But they did announce that there's this like Ultimate Fan Fest coming in August of next year, which since there's no, what's the other one called? Is it just called D23? What's the other one they do every 2 years? Is that
D23 or Celebration? Star Wars is there.
Maybe I'm thinking Celebration. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
So there's no Celebration next year because they're doing the one in Japan, right? The year after?
Yeah, in 2025. Is it Japan? Yeah. Is that where it was? I forget where it was.
I think it's Japan. I think it's Tokyo.
Okay.
So I don't think we have that in the budget, Jay.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're not going?
No. Not going to make that one. So there's events happening. They're thinking, oh, okay, so maybe like any big announcements about the shows will happen then, perhaps. So that's not till next August. But I was hoping, because there was a Walt Disney Studios showcase this morning, and I was thinking, oh, well, then maybe something's gonna get thrown out there. Nothing. I mean, I think with everything going on, they will not commit to saying anything more right now. They're gonna be like, let's get the strike over with, and then reset our fucking timelines.
I think so.
Speaking of that, Skeleton Crew, there was a lot of hot rumors out there that it was supposed to be coming out November, December of this year. Now they think it's sliding into 2024. Some even think it might slide all the way to the end of 2024. Which is like, ooh.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I don't like that at all because it's all been filmed. I mean, they wrapped up filming in like January or something. So it's been done a while.
Well, and then the Acolyte is finished filming. So there's no reason why one of those won't come out next year. I mean, actually, it makes sense for them maybe like March for one of them and then either summer or like August.
That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah.
I mean, originally Andor was supposed to come out next August. That shit ain't going to happen. Right, I mean, I do like the fact that they were like, for a while, remember they said, oh, they just wrapped up early. And we were freaking out like, oh, God, don't half-ass it at the end here. Right. I think they're going to say, we're going to wait till this is properly done before we actually put the thing out. So it's going to slide to 2025, I bet.
Yeah, I agree.
So that might mean we only get 2 series next year, which is kind of a bummer. What the fuck are we going to do in the meantime?
I know. I mean, they switched all their Marvel stuff and they pushed it. There's only a couple coming out in the end of the year. Now, Loki's November. X-Men, the cartoon I think it drops like January now, and they're dropping What If Season 2 in December. Mm-hmm. And there was something else that Daredevil they pushed indefinitely. Echo is late next year, and so is the Ironheart they pushed indefinitely as well, which is finished filming. So I'm not quite sure why. So I think it's just they don't know where they're going to drop it, but it'll be next year.
Still haven't watched the finale to Secret Invasion. Was that? I heard mixed response.
You know what? I liked most of Secret Invasion until that episode.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't like that.
Terrible.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if they're not going to do anything else with that, then maybe just let Ben Mendelsohn do some fucking more Star Wars. Let's get him in on that Krennic shit because we think he might show up in Andor. Maybe.
That'd be cool.
So then let's see. Well, then also the other thing was Mando season 4. Like that originally, they were thinking early 25. Now that's probably going to be pushing that back too. Although they probably want to have that. I mean, not probably. They want to have that in before that movie comes out. Whenever that comes out with Filoni. So who knows? Fucking everything's up in the air. Speaking of disappointment, Master and Apprentice, a special look at Ahsoka. I felt like we already saw absolutely everything in this clip.
Almost all of this was, released on Twitter in bits.
Yeah. So I when I was sat there and watching, I thought, okay, they're timing it. It's coming out right before episode 5 and right after you've seen this, bit of Anakin in episode 4 of Ahsoka. I'm like, sweet, what's this going to be? I fired up and it's like 7 minutes. I'm like, 7 minutes? What the fuck is this going to be?
I was like, this better be episodic.
It was just, it was just almost just like a promo, It wasn't, I don't know. I was a little disappointed by that. Because originally I had this as like a main topic that we were going to discuss after the Ahsoka episode. I was like, well, I'll just make this a footnote now.
It was a fucking waste. It was basically, they could have been like, well, in case you didn't know, Ahsoka at one time was the apprentice of Anakin Skywalker.
Right.
Wink. Disney Plus logo. That's it.
Well, I mean, they don't really show much. There's not any big, huge reveals in it either. So it's like you could have showed this, all before the season, as part of the teasing as well. Why'd you wait to do it till mid-season?
And like, what did they show? Like two shots from the animation world, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
2 or 3. It wasn't like that many. I'm like, I mean, they really could have put a story together and kind of like, for those of you who don't know, and they put, I mean, nobody's working right now.
Yeah, true. Maybe that was the problem.
Well, maybe that's why they couldn't do it. Maybe like because you have to have a script written, to follow through, and no one can write it right now. And
you mean the computer won't do that for them?
Oh. Right? Yeah, yeah. That's why they got 8 minutes. This is what happens when you let artificial intelligence take over.
Yep, that's right. Okay, so that was it for news, and it's time to talk Ahsoka, episode 4, Fallen Jedi.
Worst episode ever.
You didn't like it?
No, I liked it. Yeah.
I was gonna say, what are you talking about? I thought you were serious for a second. I thought it was a nice way to overall nice way to wrap up the first half of the season.
Yeah.
Because we've seen everything in the trailers. So everything going forward, we're in the dark. And you get the traveling to Thrawn, is kind of the cliffhanger. You get the death of Ahsoka as a cliffhanger and all the Anakin stuff as well. So I don't know. I mean, I thought it was a good way to kind of essentially break the season into 2.
I thought they did a really good job of balancing both forward momentum and exposition and also giving some really good action.
Yes, but I bet you so many people who didn't watch Rebels saw that last scene and went, the fuck?
Right.
They're so confused.
But it works as a cliffhanger because I think the next episode, they'll explain it. You'll get an idea what it is, I think.
Yeah, and I want to get into theories at the end, of course, when we get to that point, but I'm sure a lot of people are like, oh, so she's dead. Like she's in heaven or whatever. She's in the afterworld.
Mm-hmm.
Let's jump into the beginning. So we open with Sabine and Hu Yang working on the ship, trying to get it up and running, and try as she might, Sabine cannot reach Hera. Ahsoka really lays it out for Sabine. She's like, hey, so the enemy's got the map, right? And we know Thrawn's probably near Ezra, but we can't just let them go find Thrawn. So if we don't get the map, then the Ezra thing's kind of done. You get that, right? And Sabine's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I did not sign up for this.
No, she does not seem happy. And you can tell right away Ahsoka's like, oh, fuck. Can I trust you? Can I count on you? She said. She's like, yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're on the same page, sis. Don't worry.
Yeah, you can't count on her.
Some would say she has more love for him than one would a brother.
You might suggest that, yes. Yeah. Although, like you said, the brother-sister bond is tight in Star Wars.
Right, that's right. It's like foreplay in the Star Wars world.
Anyway, so she's like, so Ahsoka's just pushing that. She kind of keeps saying it throughout the episode, you understand this, you're on board with this, right? Essentially, he could be a lost cause. But Sabine's like, it's not going to come to that. We're going to get the fucking map. Mm-hmm. So then we cut to a shot of Baylan and Elsbeth back at Stonehenge. He orders Shin, send the guards, and then Elsbeth's like, that's not going to delay him long. And he's like, you will. And he's talking to Shin. So Shin and Marrok go as well. So essentially, they're just trying to hold him off while they fucking make, the map does its business.
Yeah, it's trying to crack the Bitcoin code.
Not yet. It's working on it.
Uh-huh.
So Hu Yang back at the ship, Hu Yang gets jumped. Now, this is a pretty funny scene because it's like part Terminator, part Rock'em Sock'em Robots, part fucking almost like the ads you've seen for that movie, The Creator. The robots kind of moved like some of them in that preview did. That kind of reminded me of that as well. I can't wait for that movie to come out.
That movie looks amazing.
Oh, it looks so good. So it was a pretty cool fight. I thought it was kind of fun to watch. But then, of course, Ahsoka and Sabine come in and just start whooping fucking ass.
How come the arms, like, he didn't extend them all the way? It was almost like Chris Elliott and Scary Movie 2, where he's like, grab my good hand.
He's got something wrong in his tendons or like his,
Right.
right in his elbows. He can only go so far. It's also, if you stay close and compact, you more punch, If you're far away,
That's true.
I don't know. So they're just smoking these fools, and I thought it was a pretty cool fight sequence because you get to see, Sabine using her old twin blasters that we saw in Rebels, which was nice. She gets to utilize her Beskar armor. She's blocking shots and shit like that. So you get a lot of
actually, she shows that she's much more of an opponent when she's geared up and going Mandalorian than trying to be a Jedi.
Yes, much more confident for sure.
Yes.
And then you get this hilarious shot, which is one of my favorite shots of the whole show, which is when Ahsoka fucking does the backstab of the guy behind her right through the face and kind of just holds it there for a minute. Like, everybody see that?
Feel the burn.
Oh my God, that poor guy. So then they decide, okay, they kill them all. They decide, okay, we're going to head for the base. And Hu Yang is like, you need to get the comms up and reach out to Hera, get a message to her. And he's like, okay, but can I just say something? You guys work better together. Just saying that. And they're like, I love the like cheekiness. Sabine's like, we'll stay together.
Yeah. Even Ahsoka has like a little smile on her face.
Yeah, I know. So then back at the New Republic fleet, I love that shot coming in of all the fleet. It just reminded me of Return of the Jedi,
Yeah.
And then we see Hera and Jason getting in the Ghost. We get to see the Ghost finally.
And Chopper.
Yep, of course. And they head out, and who joins her? Our old friend Carson Teva.
Sure does.
And he even calls her Phoenix leader, which is a nod back to Star Wars Rebels and the cell that they operated in. Mm-hmm. Very cool stuff. So then we back to Baylan and Elsbeth. Elsbeth's like, explaining, hey, once they have the info from the map ball, we'll call it.
Sure.
They can plot their course. And Baylan's like, you better get these fucking calculations right, because otherwise we are going to be like in the middle of nowhere and stuck.
Yeah. You better have food on this ship.
Right. How much you got? And she says, have faith. And he's like, faith? I lost that a long time ago. Mm-hmm. That just bleeds into the whole motivation thing.
Right.
I mean, because he's got serious Order 66 PTSD. So Elsbeth goes to work with her little Night Sister magic and opens the map, gets the data starting to upload to the Eye of Sion. So that's like in motion. And then I think at that point, she's like, you stay here, guard the map. I'm going to go back to the ship.
You think like their transfer capabilities would be a little faster than...
It's a little slow.
Yeah. They're running off some analog shit. Big, thick cables everywhere.
At the end, it's like instant. The second they hook the thing back up, it's like, and they're done.
And they had like 4 spots to go yet. It took the whole episode to get across like to, what was that, like 7 o'clock?
Yeah, it's like the office. It's like Office Space when he's trying to shut down his Mac at the end of the day. It just keeps going, saving, loading, saving, like the whole bar.
Yep.
Ahsoka and Sabine are making their way to Stonehenge, and they come upon Shin and Marrok. Now this is a cool sequence because I love how Shin's just standing there. She's like, going somewhere? Mm-hmm. So we're gonna finally get the battle royale 2-on-2 action here, and Sabine starts it off. She's like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna shoot her." Starts shooting at Shin, kind of chases her off over to the side. And then eventually gets force tossed into a tree.
Yeah. I do have to say this was a cool fight, but the one thing I think would have been better is if they would have like crossed back and forth their opponents.
Oh, fought each other. Like, so they're a true tag team, like 2-on-2.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I get what you're saying. That would be cool. Obviously, they're trying to really show the matchup here. They're really trying to make this Sabine Shin a thing.
Yeah, they are.
I get that, and maybe they feel like Ahsoka would overpower Shin too easily.
True.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So, because she certainly does later without, much she's like holding off a lightsaber and smashes her later. So,
well, I mean, she doesn't even disrobe for Marrok, but when she gets to Baylan, she's like, this big beefy fuck's gonna have me sweating.
Yeah. So I thought the fight sequence overall was pretty good, especially I thought the Sabine Shin once it gets to lightsabers, I thought it was a cool sequence there that they showed.
Yeah.
But it was funny when she first, toward the end, she like knocks the saber out of her hand or whatever, and Sabine meekly tries to get the thing back with the force, and Shin's like, nice try.
Well, did you notice like she like flinches, like she, goddamn dogs.
Those damn dogs. Yes, she winces like she's gonna get hit with something, and then
Yes.
realizes, oh, you don't even fucking have the Force.
You have no power.
Yeah,
And she's like, I got Mandalorian gear, baby.
I know, nice little fucking trick. You know what I do
Yep.
got up my sleeve is a little wrist rocket. Bam.
Yep.
And then Ahsoka is battling Marok, has a smile on her face the whole time, like she is just loving it.
Yes.
I mean, she clearly is like, I got this, dude, no problem.
Oh, it wasn't even a match.
No.
I mean, she even like took the stance. It was like the Karate Kid. Like, she's ready to do the crane.
Yeah, I have. So you mentioned earlier when he starts doing the spinner,
Mm-hmm.
I immediately thought about Kanan in the first season of Rebels when the Grand Inquisitor does that, and he takes his two lightsabers and just goes in on the handle and goes, whoop.
Yes. Snaps it.
I thought that was
Yep.
going to happen. I was like, get your other saber out.
Well, like that's you got to pay attention to the little things. And like right away when they line up with each other, she only pulls out one saber.
Yes.
You know, pulls out both sides of the blade, and she's already fought him once, but she's like, this dude's, he's going to take me like 20 seconds.
True, but then later she only does one saber against Baylan, and I'm like, hey, you want to get the other saber out?
Yes, you're right. Yeah.
So why? Why is she not using the double sabers? I don't get it. Maybe she does double sabers more for like many opponents.
That could be. Yeah.
Versus the solo. I don't know. Maybe she just wanted to prove to Baylan she could beat him with just the one saber. I can beat you with one hand tied behind my back.
Yeah, you're gonna need some walls to jump off to throw your weight, lady, because he is, woo.
Oh, and I want to mention too, like Shin and her fighting style. She's very like athletic, and but also just like so fucking angry. I really like watching her fight.
Yes.
She's just relentless.
She's almost like she reminds me as Darth Maul a little bit, like when they're fighting and they get in episode 1 and the laser wall goes up and he paces like a tiger.
Yes.
She's very much like an animal. Like she just like her
animal.
stance and the way she comes. Yes.
Yeah. So she instead of doing the Kanan trick, Ahsoka on Marok, she just basically avoids his sweep attack and just with one shot blasts him and then holds her pose. Fucking Heisman pose.
Yeah. It was like a video game.
Exactly.
Fatality.
And so, okay, let's talk about this. So he takes the slice right across the chest or the belly, pauses like, oh, fuck. The typical Star Wars, oh, no, I just got done. And then all of a sudden, the green smoke starts pouring out and then just flies out of his body.
Yeah.
So what were you thinking at this point? You're like, okay, so this is a guy who's been brought back to life as a Night Brother by...
Yeah, I'm
Elspeth?
guessing, was he reanimated? I mean, because we've seen her do that, or the Witches of Dathomir do that, and to Savage, and Maul, right? But it makes their powers they're stronger, and kind of like it adds a little bit of like lunacy too, right?
Yeah,
But
especially in Maul's case.
We get nothing, so that's what makes me think maybe reanimated because, well, he did respond with "as you wish" and a couple other things, but he wasn't really like he didn't have much going for him. He certainly didn't come off like he was crazy, but definitely controlled. So I'm wondering, like, can she reanimate him again? Is this a one-time thing? Is she doing this to others? There's a much like Star Wars. We'll get the backstory in 20 years, but I like this idea. We didn't get anything out of him. He wasn't a character, but kind of a cool thing happened.
Well, right, and it's certainly a nice nod to those who have seen the animated stuff because, like you said, you've seen this with Savage. When Savage gets killed by Palps in a crazy sequence, by the way, that fight scene, I went back and watched it a while ago. And it's a crazy fight sequence. That's the same thing. He's laying there dying. Maul's like talking to him, brother. And the green smoke just kind of vacates his body and he's dead. And they never reanimated him. Right. So I'm guessing that's a one and done for Marok as far as this goes. I think he's totally done. Anyway, so then Elsbeth, like I said, had headed up to the Eye of Sion. She tells Baylan to protect the map. And then when he's ready to join her, she'll send for him or whatever.
Yeah.
So Ahsoka arrives at Stonehenge. Baylan starts in on the whole... that stuff we saw in the trailers. Anakin spoke highly of you. She's like, that's funny. He never mentioned you.
Yeah.
And he is just trying to get in her fucking head. He's like, is this why you abandoned Anakin? Like only some of the Jedi know what actually came, what actually happened to him in the end. Is that why you left him? I love that sequence, by the way.
I think some of it is trying to get in her head, but also I don't know if he has the answers.
So he's like throwing it out there?
It's her that pulls the lightsaber out and ignites it first.
Correct.
Like he's not. He like the thing is like it's one of those things where he's definitely saying something, but you're not catching what he's saying. So of course she's like, "We're going to war, bitch." when he could have been a little bit more clearer, because he definitely was a bit more clear, or at least more than he was with Ahsoka, because he persuaded Sabine. Yeah.
No, that's true.
I mean, this where it leads me to be like, because he says the line, is it to Sabine, where he says something for the greater good? What's he say?
He always says he's doing something for the greater good. For her, it's about Ezra. For him, it's for the greater good.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's lying.
In his mind, yes, right.
Right. Yes, correct.
Yeah. It is a funny thing to say, like, oh, you abandoned Anakin. You know what he turned into. What do you mean I abandoned him? I guess she did abandon him technically before that, but still, it's just, I don't know. It's like he's trying to put the guilt on her.
Mm-hmm.
So he explains he's there to secure the future. I like how he says that.
Yeah.
And he says, a war started by Thrawn is a necessary evil because you must destroy in order to create. Mm-hmm. So still kind of trying to figure out exactly what he means by that, but clearly it's starting to take shape exactly what he's after. By any means necessary kind of guy.
Right.
So they kind of spend a bit of time sizing each other up, which is cool. There's like it's almost like they're approaching each other on the dance floor and kind of checking each other out a little bit, like how do they move. Then they even have like an initial little like parry and stop for a second and kind of look at each other like, oh,
right.
Okay.
I love where she ignites her saber and he pulls his off and says, it's inevitable.
Yeah.
And then ignites his. And I'm like, oh, this dude is like just stone cold.
And he's got the double grip. He's got the long hilt.
Yeah, he does. This dude's like swinging a broadsword.
Yes.
I mean, when he finally he's done dicking around with her and just starts hammering.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, holy shit, man. This dude's scary. And I love the fact that he is so scary without a helmet.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
You know?
he's very menacing looking. He looks like the kind of guy that is like this calm, kind of controlled dude, but boy, if you piss him off, it's fucking over. You know what I mean? Like just the snap factor is a problem. Mm-hmm. And he's using his size and strength like just to overpower her. I mean, she's obviously got her agility, which is kind of helping her stay in the fight, but he's just clearly like stronger.
I mean, at the point where I love he keeps himself between the map and her.
Yes.
At all times. When she finally rolls past him underneath and pops back up and she reaches, he fucking grabs her hand, the one that's holding the lightsaber, and just chucks her.
Right.
Good God.
It was almost like an American Gladiator sequence.
Yes.
You know, she keeps trying to reach around to get the ball. Because she's really trying to like kind of half fend him off and be like, I can reach it.
Right.
Oh.
It's almost like I can't really fight this guy, but I can defend myself for a minute. But if I get the map, I can just run away. Ha! I beat you. Little does she know she's about to get burnt.
Yeah, no shit. Well, and he also says he has an interesting line. He says, "Your legacy, like your master's, is one of death and destruction."
Yeah.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Right, but I mean, is that her legacy so far, or is he seeing something in the future?
Because you're gonna get on this world between worlds thing in a second. I can't wait. You could be right. So she finally gets the better of him a little bit. Like she kind of sends him flying. You know, she's a nice like sequence of kicks and shit. And that's when she gets the map ball and just burns the shit out of her hand. So it's very much another Indiana Jones kind of ish moment, like when he gets the. Yeah. But it's so funny because the second she gets, she's like, "Ow, ow!"
It's hot.
So fucking
Somebody
hot.
get me an oven mitt.
Exactly. Then so it's about that time where he's trying to kind of like blast her off the edge of the cliff. He's got her right toward the edge.
Yeah.
And then Shin shows up, and Ahsoka immediately thinks, "Oh fuck, Sabine's dead."
Yeah.
So she's kind of pissed off, and that's what I think gives her a little bit of an extra jolt of power, because when Shin starts to go like to grab the map, she's like, "Oh no, you fucking don't!" Like you said, just force tossed into the rock and knocks her out. And clearly, Baylan did not like that, because he turns like, "Fuck you."
You know, that's really the person who said that. That really crept into my head that might be a father-daughter relationship.
Yes, it is a good theory. Do you have it up top?
Mandalore the First.
Mandalore the First.
I mean, I don't get the father-daughter, but he man, that's interesting.
It could be a found family scenario. He found her.
Sure.
You know, on the streets or whatever, like she was, you know, somehow abandoned or forced onto the, you know, out of her home or left. And then he thought, oh, I can sense she's got some force abilities. I can like train her and bring her up almost as a, you know.
Well, I mean, she clearly would not have been born at Order 66, right?
No, because she's got to be way younger than that. This is like 30 years later.
Yeah. So I mean,
she ain't 30.
Yeah, I don't see. Well, maybe Baylan just he had a one night stand somewhere. And all right, I'll take care of her.
That, or he killed the mom.
We'll find out. Pelimoto's the mom.
For the greater good, slices the mom's head off.
Yeah.
Like you always say that. You always say for the greater good. It's not really for the greater good. In your mind, it is. So then Sabine shows up, and Ahsoka's like, "Sweet, Sabine's here." But I love the fact that she holds the gun to the map. I'll fucking do it. Don't make me fucking do it. And then and Ahsoka's saying like, "Destroy it. Destroy the thing." This is again a Lord of the Rings type thing. Destroy the ring, throw it into the fire.
But like the way she's holding it, like if she were to shoot it, she'd have blew her hand off.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's not like through, the other side, my hand's not there. Like she's like, I'll do it. Don't think I won't do it.
I can see, yeah. It would be better if she held it up like I was a hostage.
Right. Yeah.
And considering that Baylan later uses his saber and kind of has to really get into it,
yeah,
I don't think that one shot was going to do the trick.
Right.
So she's, obviously torn, holding the map. Ahsoka's telling her to destroy it. And that's when Baylan just goes, okay, I got two things going on here. I need to get rid of one of them. So bam, Ahsoka gone.
Yep.
And I think everybody's thinking, of course the show's named Ahsoka. She's not really dead, but where the fuck did she go? Like she just got dumped off this cliff, Hope she can swim. And then the second that happens, he turns around, starts talking to Sabine, and really starts getting into fucking her head because she's still trying to play the whole I'm going to blow up the ball, and he's what?
I'm sorry, I'm trying not to get out of the conversation,
okay.
But immediately what are the things called?
Oh my God. I know what you're talking about. It's the head tails.
Tendrils or whatever. Yeah, her head tails.
Why can I not think of the term? The
Leku?
Is that what they call it? Leku?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like they're a flotation device?
Yes, that's exactly what I thought of. She lands in the water and it's just like a bobber.
They're nice and spongy, and it could totally be a flotation device. That's a good idea. But then he says some interesting stuff. He's like, he's talking about, all of a sudden he starts talking about her family dying on Mandalore because her master didn't trust her.
Yeah.
So we're to assume then that her family died, the Clan Ren crew and all that. It was her mother and her brother, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember if it was alluded to here or if there was another conversation, but yeah, I mean, basically, I think that we're led to believe that Ahsoka wouldn't let her return to Mandalore after the
Night of 1,000 Tears.
Exactly, which would have killed her, and I think that separated the two of them.
Right. So she was saying, I think this is a lost cause. You go there, you're going to die. I'm not going to let you go. Mm-hmm. And then in the process, her family dies. Which is, I think, is obviously what plays into the whole Ezra pull and decision later. Is she's like, well, I got nothing fucking left now.
Yeah.
Like, so Ahsoka getting blasted off the cliff and her thinking she's dead. She's like, okay, well, my real family's dead. Ahsoka's dead. So all that's left for me is Ezra. What other play do I have? If I destroy this thing, I got nothing.
Yeah, well, as far as she knows, she's still stranded on the planet. They can't get a hold of Hera.
Yeah.
So, this is her option. Her only option.
Right, because I think a lot of people in the end, when she makes this decision, are like, what the fuck are you doing? It's like, well, two things. One, look at her options and look where she was, and she's in kind of a bad spot. And two, if she didn't do that, if she did destroy the ball, well, then the series would end.
Yeah, true.
that whole plot goes away. So he says, hey, we have the same goal. This is such like 101 manipulator talk, Hey, we're after the same thing, okay?
Right.
I'm on your side. So he's like, look, you want to make this journey to find your old friend, like your only family left, and he's like, and you can join me. I won't do you any harm. I've got, of course, this is where I think he drops a greater good line. I'm after the greater good. You're after your friend. Let's just do this together.
I give you my word. You will not be harmed.
Yeah. So she hands over the ball reluctantly, and then immediately Shin wakes up and starts horse choking. The two of them, so fucking funny. I just love how that was the first thing she thought when she woke up. Oh, fuck this bitch.
Mm-hmm. I'll get you yet.
Yeah. I love how Baylan's like, can you just stop? Please stop.
It's almost like down dog.
So he says, I will, unlike her former master, I will keep my word. She's not to be harmed.
Yes.
So, and you could tell Shin's just not happy with this at all. So they put the map back on, and immediately, like we said, the coordinates are done. Like just that last little jolt to get the thing done. Baylan then destroys the map so nobody can follow them, and then the three of them head up to in the shuttle to the Eye of Sion. And it's at this point we get back finally to Hera. She rolls in with the X-Wings and reaches out to Fulcrum. Nice little fun reference there.
Yep.
Talking to Hu Yang. And he's like, so they built this hyperspace ring and you got to stop this ship from launching because we can't let that happen. But before they can kind of do anything, they engage the hyperdrive and it flies off. And in the like dust trail of it jumping to hyperspace, it fucking kills like 3 of the X-Wings.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Goodbye, Brandon Wayne.
Yeah, I know. He was one of them, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
So
that was a cool scene.
It is a cool scene. I think a lot of the space fighting scenes and just like the way they come in, the way the Ghost looks with the X-Wings, all that stuff looked great. And also, was it this episode or was it last episode when they showed the hyperspace ring go into atmosphere and like come through the clouds?
It was this episode. Yeah, that was a great
cool.
shot.
Yeah, it was very cool. Jason Sedula says, Mom, I got a bad feeling. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Tends to make you think of something. And then we get this cool transition. I love the transition from the cliff's edge, over the cliff's edge to the water, to all of a sudden her laying there on the ground. And then once she like sits up, you're like, fucking there it is. And it looks amazing. We knew it was coming, but still to see it was like kind of still somewhat of a surprise. And then you hear she hears, hello, Snips.
Right.
You're like, uh-oh. And didn't expect to see you so soon. Boom, we get a de-aged Anakin. I thought he looked fine. I know some people are kind of in with it. The way I look at it is this. It's like, I can deal with it. It's only when it's like weird mouth stuff. That's the only thing that really bothers me, if like they're trying to do something weird with the mouth. Otherwise, it's just like a character wearing fucking makeup. Who cares?
Well, I think it was more makeup than it was de-age. And the funny thing is everyone bitched because they didn't de-age him in Kenobi. You know, they just use a little makeup on him. It is what it is. This is what, you know, and now he's supposed to be even younger than that scene, maybe a year or so, right? And
no, he's actually supposed to be a little older because that scene in Kenobi, he was still kind of had the short hair and all that
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
I thought he looked fine. He's looking like he just stepped off the set of Clone Wars.
Yeah.
But then they play the Vader music at the end.
Right.
So let's get into this now because there's a lot of theories floating around.
What are yours? What's your top theory?
So my immediate thought was Ahsoka has been saved by the world between worlds for the second time, like Ezra did. Anakin at some point after she left the Order, that's the line. I didn't expect to see you so soon.
Right.
I'm not sure this is the right theory though, but this is what I immediately thought was he somehow found the world between worlds and we never knew that happened. And he pulled her out because he saw her falling to her death.
Okay.
So he's still in the past.
Yeah.
It's the old Anakin, and he has pulled her out. Now, all that being said, with the Vader music, something weird's at play here.
Yeah.
Do you think she's being like totally mind fucked?
I do. The Vader music throws me off from my idea, but the problem is I don't know how they're going to explain like Mortis and everything involved with that. But that makes the most sense. Because she's tied to the sister and died originally. And there's even at one point during what were they, 3 episodes?
Yes.
I mean, I don't remember the brother's name, or if they got a name, it's just brother.
I think
brother
he was
Mortis.
just the brother.
Yeah. He ends up turning Anakin to follow him. Like he's going to, remember at one time he even turns himself into him, right? Isn't it like I'm going to be you or whatever? Or use him to get out of there, right? Like he wanted to leave.
He wanted to leave. He wanted to use him to get out of there. And he was showing him, this is what's going to happen to you someday. You're going to turn into this monster Vader and fucking murder all these people.
Right. But doesn't he kill him? Because
I don't think he
Anakin
kills him.
die first, and then Ahsoka gives herself for Anakin, and then the sister gives herself to save Ahsoka?
I don't think he died. I could be wrong, but I don't think he died. I think his whole thing was he saw this vision and then was aware of like the shit he was going to cause. And so that's why he was embracing the dark side or whatever. Like he was, whatever the brother was trying to convince him to do. But then later he talked to the dad and the dad wipes that memory from him.
Yes, correct.
So he doesn't know that's going to happen. I don't remember Anakin dying, but I remember Ahsoka dying. And then the daughter's life force.
I thought it was Anakin and her laying on the ground at one point, and wasn't the sister holding both of them or something? And then something happens. I should have watched it again, but
the sister jumps in front of the father to save him from getting killed by the brother. And then that's when her life force goes into Ahsoka, and that's the whole thing with the Maori bird, or not Maori, whatever his name is, the owl. That's that whole thing. You're right. This is too much to explain.
I've noticed. I've not seen I've not seen the owl in this season of Ahsoka.
The owl was in when she showed up in Mando.
Yep.
Was she not at the very beginning? We didn't see the owl? I guess not, huh?
Yeah,
You're right. I don't think
so.
we've seen it.
Right.
Okay.
But my thought that it leads to that, like even the first episode when she's down, doing her Indiana Jones thing, like those murals, those carved in murals, kind of represent what we know from the Mortis stuff, right? And if you listen to when she's like turning the fucking clock, we thought like, but it's not. It's
it's
brother.
not Maul.
It's the brother.
It is the brother.
And he does the voice, Sam Witwer. He does the voice for both characters.
I didn't think about that. That's a good point. Because that's the whole point of them bringing them to Mortis was to determine if Anakin is the chosen one.
Right.
That was the whole thing. Because the father wanted him to like replace him, et cetera, et cetera. Like it was almost like to throw the Indiana Jones thing in there. It was almost like the knight in the tomb where the Holy Grail is.
Right.
It's like, now you can take over. I'm done.
Yeah. but where this leads to, like, why I didn't expect to see you so soon. I'm confused what this is, or if it's like maybe the music was playing just to allude to the fact like we're gonna see him. If anything, like I think like if we start seeing shots in the portals or whatever it is, we're gonna see him turn to Vader. I think, right? Or she's going. My idea is she can't save him or change anything because you can't do that, right? Mm-hmm. So she, at the end of the day, if it is Anakin, she's still going to have to let him go back to his timeline knowing what's going to happen to him.
Right, because that's the tricky thing here.
Yeah.
If she doesn't, if she feels like she could save him and tell him and warn him about these things before he does them, then she might consider that option because of the fact. But if in the back of her mind, is she going to hear herself talking to Sabine going, sometimes you got to do what's right?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, she's the one that convinces Ezra when he saves her when they're walking through the world between worlds. When he sees Kanan,
yes,
he wants to pull him through, and she's like, "You can't because then
you're dead."
Yes.
Yeah. Right. So no, that's a good point. I didn't think about that being the brother who says that. Is he the chosen one? That's a good point. I mean, of course, other people are like, "Is she dead?" I'm like, "She's not dead. There's no way she's dead."
Right. I think because I don't think there's like she didn't fall into an entryway or something like that. Maybe he did pull her in, but I'm wondering if maybe like the near-death experience or something like that, and maybe the burn from I don't know. I think there's something that happened that allowed her to go because the sister's in her, and aren't they like they're like connected to that world between worlds?
Somehow, I think you're right. So you're thinking. So wait. So you're thinking like it's not even actually the world between worlds? Like it's
well. Yeah, that's the thing too. Maybe this is a mental thing right now, and that's just where she's spending her, I don't know, her recovery. I don't know.
Well, for the greater good, could you get the dog to stop barking?
Hey, that worked.
There you go. Yeah, because I could just see, it's a tough thing for Ahsoka if she's sitting there talking to him at that time to not be like, so. Yeah. You're going to lose your arms and your legs. You're going to be totally disfigured. I think you're going to lose your dick, too. I'm not sure. You might want to reconsider what you're going to do here. Yeah. Stay away from Palps. I don't know. And that's the other thing I thought. Is this a Palps play? You know, is this like some sort of... I don't think they would do that. But Palps has already fucked around in the world between worlds and tried to, yank him. Remember that? He was trying to pull Ezra in. Yep. So there's always that chance. I don't know.
I will say like that there's so much. The speculation is fun. We got some part of it right, but I'm really looking forward to this next episode.
Oh yeah, it's wide open. I mean,
yeah.
But like you said, the Mortis stuff is too hard to explain in such a short period of time. You can, if you introduce that, you have to do it in such a simple way, so that people have an idea of what that means. Because that was an extensive 3 episode arc.
Yeah,
like they really get deep into the shit. So I don't know. I had your thing here on your DM. Let me see if you covered everything. You said there were some scenarios. I don't remember what it is. She's unconscious, and this is her grief-ridden mind connecting with Anakin through the Force, so she conjured up them being in the world between worlds. That was your first theory. Okay. So this is just all in her head.
Yeah.
Number 2, somehow she's actually in the world between worlds with Anakin. Number 3, somehow she's in the world between worlds, but there's something more at play than it just being her actually communicating with Anakin. We talked about that. Then it says Anakin just happened to be in the world between worlds pre-dark side shit, and they have a heart-to-heart and both go back to their respective portals, timelines, or whatever. But this means Ahsoka never revealed this to Palps. Not having been there, used it or where it's even at that entrance anyway. So yeah, I mean, like, we kind of covered all those things you said. Although you did say later, you said, what if somehow Vader returned? Maybe Baylan is actually from both the past and the future, and he's trying to stop Vader from being a bad Palpatine joke. But what you had mentioned something about Baylan and the World Between Worlds. You think he's tied to that? You think he knows some shit?
Yeah, I do. I mean, because if they're introducing the World Between Worlds, I think it's more than just some neat little thing they're showing. I think it's a plot device, and there's purpose to it, right? Otherwise, why do it? Other than it's a cool way to do flashback and nostalgia, but that doesn't serve. I don't think Filoni is going to do that. Like, I think there's more to it, and I don't see. We've discussed it before. Like Baylan's it doesn't seem like he's there to help Thrawn get back, but that's not. He's there. That's going to happen because of what he wants to do as well. Or he's willing to do that to get what he wants that's after that. Like, his power is not going to come because Thrawn is involved.
True.
He just needs to get to Thrawn for whatever, and that makes me keep going back to the Thrawn ship and the episode with Palpatine trying to trick Ezra into opening it and all of that. So I just think it has something to do. And him not going full bad, does that mean he can enter?
Baylan?
Yeah.
That's a good question. Because it seems like at his root, at his core, he's not bad. He's straying away from that, whatever that is, the light, as a way to kind of make it back. You know what I mean? It's almost like I'm doing the dirty work here to try to do for the greater good.
Right.
Maybe. I mean, if he's involved with the World Between Worlds, it gets real crazy. Because I don't know. I don't know. And so let's get into what's next.
Okay.
Are we going to get flashbacks? Because there was some mention of flashbacks, and there was a tweet you shared with me that was talking about Ahsoka as like a younger, like a 14-year-old, and they had cast somebody for that.
Right. Yeah, I saw that. But then I just read today that was it Bespin News or whatever, and Star Wars whatever. Did we talk about it? There was talk about a couple weeks back that they filmed the fight on Mustafar, but Ahsoka was there instead of Kenobi.
Oh. I thought they said something. So I scroll past Bespin because sometimes it includes a little too much.
Okay.
It's all those doors that RFB's always talking about. Do you want to know what's behind the door?
Yeah.
But I saw something that said that they're not going to be showing scenes for that.
Yes, I saw that they believe that it was actually filmed, but it ended up not making the episode.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
They filmed it and didn't use it, huh? Or they're not going to show the Malachor fight scenes. I don't think you need to do that. That's the one where they fight in Rebels, end of season 2, when she almost dies and gets pulled out by Ezra.
Right.
I don't think you need to show that. I don't know, man. That's the other thing I was wondering about is if you do other flashbacks, because like, what else are you going to show? What else are you going to Ahsoka? If they're just having conversations, are they like showing them in memories going back to these times? Are we actually looking through the portals to see those times? And so that's the thing they had to reenact is just those little bits. So like, look over here. And it's them actually doing live action shit. Like, because when you're walking around the World Between Worlds, it's just door after door of shit that's happened and voices everywhere. So is that what essentially the flashback scenes will be? Is just that, not somebody like
them seeing something. And I'm wondering, like, if it is not Anakin, it is like the brother. Like, there has to be like some type of trick that's happening, right?
Man, if it's the brother, people are gonna be so confused.
Right, but do they need to explain it all in that episode?
Probably not, I guess. Especially if it plays into the larger story that leads into everything else. Yeah, that's true. They can be planting seeds here. Mm-hmm. What happens with Hera? Like, what the fuck does she do next? I mean, she has no idea where anybody is. Everybody's gone. I mean, is she just going to be kind of on the back burner until we figure out what's going to happen with Sabine? Because, I mean, that's the biggest question for me. As much as the World Between Worlds is crazy shit and Anakin and what are they going to do with that? What are they going to show for the rest of that crew? Are they going to actually show Baylan and Sabine go to this place? Or are they just going to all of a sudden come back and Thrawn's going to be with them?
Well, if anything, maybe Ahsoka sees what happens, like where they're going to come back from. Mm-hmm. So then when she wakes up, if she's still at the Henge, right, she can get a hold of Hera. Well, she has her ship, but then they need to form like a group, right? Like, we need to go and be here because we need to have a fight, right? And that's more of there needs to be a fight for the show.
Sure, of course. We need action.
But that's where we can get Zed, and they can get that group together. I don't think they're going to spend a lot of time with, like, when they get over there to find Thrawn. Like, the point is to come back.
Right. I don't know. That's what I'm saying is I don't even know if you'll see that. I don't even know if you'll see anything from that galaxy. They're just going to all of a sudden come back.
Yeah, I agree. Or they have to figure out the Purgles are ready to migrate. They're taking their trip. So then they can all go with them, and maybe some shit does go down in that galaxy.
Right on the back.
Like, the idea is maybe let's stop them there and leave them there.
Yeah.
And we know how to get back in 20,000 years when they want to come back.
Oh my God. Yeah, I don't know. I still don't think we're going to see Ezra. I just don't think we're going to see Ezra. I think that's going to be next season. I was reading this thing, Diane, is it Ensenado? I can't remember how you say her name, but the gal who's Elspeth.
Yep.
She was saying that she alluded to some big fight scene that she has with Ahsoka. So that shit's coming in the second half. That'll be sweet.
Awesome.
Because I really like their fight in Mando.
Yeah, I did
that
too.
was pretty cool.
That was great. And she's like a trained.
She's Bruce Lee's goddaughter,
right? Right. Yeah. So she's
trained martial artist.
Spin kicks and shit. Yeah. So I'd like to see them fight. Now, you know what? I really like her character, and I hope that's not like a big kill this season, because I want to flesh that out a little bit and do more of the witchcraft stuff.
Right.
That's pretty interesting stuff. But I'm curious, like, for Thrawn to come in to see what exactly his plan is going to be.
I'm just excited for the fact that it's supposed to be a fairly long episode. We obviously know there's going to be a lot with the Anakin Ahsoka stuff, but what are they going to cut to during that time? Like, what's the other story they're showing?
I saw rumors of Order 66 and even flashback to him in his armor, his general armor.
Oh, okay. Oh, so we might get some Rex action.
Right. That was the thing. Young Ahsoka, Rex, and Anakin.
Ewan.
Yeah. But
what about gonna show up?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. How do you do that without Obi-Wan then?
I think
usually
you have to.
They're on missions together. So
I mean, they did stuff just the two of them. That certainly happened. But
sure.
But I mean, you would think that he would show. All of a sudden, they're just gonna bring everybody in.
Dude, that would be such a grab, though. I mean, because no one is expecting that.
No, but or like all of a sudden, you know who's gonna walk in? Mace.
Oh fuck!
Could you imagine?
Yeah,
I could see them doing that as just a little nugget, just to be like, Mace, you're getting, and Mace, Samuel Jackson, you're getting up there in years. You want to play Mace one more time, just a little bit,
right? That would be cool. I also would like to see,
make people shit their pants.
Like, I hope there's a distant shot of the world between worlds, and you see different portals, like just like a tease of something. Like, wait a minute, is that new, or was that taken from a different film, or you know what I mean? Like, I want to see if they tease like something future, or some other thing that we haven't seen happen. That'd be cool.
It looks amazing, the world between worlds. They did a great job. And one of the coolest things about that episode in Star Wars Rebels is all the voices you hear. It's all the stuff you hear that's happening from different stuff that you've seen before, but as he's walking around. So I hope they kind of recreate that effect a little bit. But yeah, it would be funny if it's literally just them walking by portal, like little panel windows, and it's just some crazy scene that they've now made live action from animation, or it's some scene from like A New Hope. And you're like, what the fuck? All right. Well, it'll be fun. I can't wait. And they're showing it in theaters.
I know, that's crazy. 10 damn theaters across the world. Wait, 3 overseas, and was it 7 here then?
I think that's right. But if you're doing that, then you better fucking deliver. Like, there's some big shit happening then.
And I read that they're not charging. It's just you go see the movie in the theater.
Oh, really?
That's what one of the comments was. They're like, oh, they're just trying to do a money grab. They're like, no, they're not charging.
Wow. Okay. Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, none of them are near me. I think there's one in Seattle. I could go up there, but I'm not going to make that. I'm just going to watch it on my TV. We will find out. All right, let's go to the Maul Bag real quick. Email number 1 from Brian Hour. So many great things this episode. Rock'em Sock'em Robots. There you go. The Ghost returns. Marrok full of hot air. More than hot air. Great lightsaber fights. Jason has a bad feeling. And Anakin as Anakin. Best TV Star Wars since Rebels. I'm still an Andor guy.
You know what?
But
There's been a few good episodes of Mandalorian, so I would say this is one of the best.
It was a great episode. It was the best episode of the season.
Yes, that's true.
Email number 2 from the Max Rebo Experience. I thought the saber fighting got a little tedious, but overall was a great episode. A little tedious, huh? My boy Carson Teva made an appearance and apparently has plot armor now. Yay!
Plot armor.
If I remember correctly, Ahsoka didn't die in the fight with Vader, but Ezra pulled her into the world. So he's the same thing I thought. Ezra pulled her into the world between worlds. Anyway, I think this is the same. Anakin saw her fall and pulled her into the world between worlds. I agree. That was my thought immediately when this happened. I was like, that has to be what it is. But again, I think you're right. I think there's more at play. More sinister things are at play. That was it for Maul Bags. Thanks to everybody for sending in Maul Bags. Thanks to everybody for responding to the question of the week. We'll put another one out this week. And yeah.
Maybe this is like a metaphor for like when Luke goes down into the swamp cave, you know, and Vader's there, or when Rey sees the other version. I wonder if they'll do like, that's why the music played. Maybe, you know, it's someone pretending. So we're going to see her fight Vader, but it won't be Vader.
It's not going to be like when Rey was doing like seeing all the versions of herself in the mirror and snapping her fingers and stuff.
Maybe. We'll see. Jazz hands.
The pit of despair that she descends into.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
We'll find out.
All right, everybody. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next week when we cover the 5th episode of Ahsoka. So until that next time.
Laugh it up, fuzzballs.
We have spoken.